Yeah, well, I missed my go live time yesterday. I hope I'm around. It'll be dark. Not much I can do about that. I don't want to shine a light in my face. I missed my walk yesterday, so I'm in the car. Deplatforming, financial deplatforming. This is the big one, I think. This is the one this is what the institutionalized left they've been building towards. And Patreon have taken off Sargon. Makes me consider whether I should be on Patreon or PayPal or any of these things. And in the background, there's something that happened to Robert Spencer and David Horowitz of the Horowitz Freedom Center earlier this year, I think, which was basically that MasterCard deplatformed them. And they put them back on after a legal threat, because David Horowitz Center is actually pretty mainstream. You're just now seeing on the YouTubes a whole load of talks that were given at David Horowitz's main annual event, which is the Restoration Weekend, which I used to attend and have attended in the past. Dan Bongino gave a talk that's gone mega viral there, all sorts of other things. In fact, it came up, I seem to remember it when Sessions was being cross-examined to get the post of Attorney General. The fact that he had talked at the David Horowitz Freedom Center came up in the confirmation hearings. That's kind of mainstream and important. And the problem is that MasterCard took them off. Now, when you go look at MasterCard, go look up the financials of MasterCard, you'll find that MasterCard, a chunk of stock is owned by Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett's organization. And to a certain extent, I think Warren Buffett is still all about the money. He's all about the Benjamins and his company. Not too much social justice, but maybe a little bit. But the main shareholder of MasterCard is something called the MasterCard Foundation. If you Google MasterCard Foundation, go look at their website, what you will see is a social justice warrior extraordinaire. Now, I don't know whether Soros is there in the background. I wouldn't doubt it. But the way I'm starting to see the world is that many organizations have been invaded and captured by the far left. They've been trained at Open Society, Soros's organization. But as I said, go look at the MasterCard Foundation. On the front of it right now on its website, it's something about helping Africans. Help Africa. Be good to Africa. Improve the quality. And I wouldn't bet that and I haven't dug all that deeply yet, but I bet if you dig a little deeper, one of the great ways to help Africa is to help them move to Europe. And this is MasterCard. MasterCard and Visa together dominate. They dominate the payment card processing. Once one of those falls to social justice, it's a big problem. And this comes to this thesis, which I still haven't explained properly in a video, and I'm going to, because I'm going to sit down with the guy who wrote it. This is Mundia and Modia. This is people who live in the real world. Physics, engineering, science, nature. People who live and deal with those worlds versus people who live in the world of people. And the people who live in the world of people, in dealing with power relationships amongst people, who's more powerful, who's less powerful, who do you have to sleep with to get ahead? That is what is capturing all of these organizations. They're built by real people, they're built by real engineers or real business people who are grounded in proper measures of success. But as these companies become so successful that making money no longer becomes difficult, like an Apple, like a Facebook, like a Google, like MasterCard, money just rolls in regardless. And what happens is, spread throughout the organization are these people who are going to take it over and come with their far left ideology of social justice, of thinking that the whole world thinks like them, of not understanding the difference that ideology makes, of why Islam is an implacable ideology, why it can never be bent, and why no matter how many benefits you give them when you bring them to your country, the ideology of Islam that they've been brought up with is going to drive their lives. It's just going to. It will. And this far left notion of bringing everybody together, getting rid of God, no nations, no borders, no God, imagine there's no countries, imagine no heaven above us, no earth below us, that thinking is now come to dominate. Now these tech giants, same thing, capture. It's invasion and capture by the far left. That's why they are absolutely ripe for doing what they're doing right now, which is deplatforming anyone. Now, I watch a ton of Sargon of Akkad's videos. The guy should be considered centrist. There's no way that he is far right. There's no way that he's alt-right. He's fought them. You know, I know this because I've watched his videos. Then you get idiots on Twitter who come back at you and say, well, if Sargon is centrist, then the world's in a lot of trouble. Well, and then you ask them, how many videos of Sargon's have you watched? Oh, none. I've just watched some of the live streams where he gets argued with. Of course. So you don't know who the guy is. You don't know what he is. I've watched Sargon's videos. I've watched Richard Spencer's stupid videos on white nationalist ideas in Star Wars. God help me. I mean, that one was bloody hard to get through, but I watched the damn thing, because if you don't watch these people, how do you understand who they are or what they're arguing for? The point is, if you think that deplatforming Sargon from his main source of income, I mean, look, as the No Agenda guys have said for years, it is a mistake to rely on third parties. But in terms of payment processing, there are nothing but third parties. You can't avoid MasterCard and Visa in this sense. And they sit above Patreon, above PayPal, even PayPal. PayPal is dependent on MasterCard and Visa and Amex and the other ones. But if MasterCard truly has gone far left, social justice warrior capture, then there is going to be no payment processing system that is going to be safe from these guys. And even my friends at No Agenda, who rely on PayPal, they need to be extremely careful, because all it takes is for the right mob of angry social justice warriors, far left, progressive left, whatever you want to call them, to decide that they don't like No Agenda show. Bang, they can mount the campaign and PayPal will come under enormous pressure. I see exactly the same thing. This is the same mob that has been mounting these campaigns to get Airbnb to delist houses that are over the armistice line, that kind of stuff. Same crowd. It's always the same crowd, and we're up against the same enemy. You might not like Israel, you might not like Zionism, but I'm telling you, we're a standard bearer. They went after us. They've been going after us for 20 years. We are the canary in the coal mine. You didn't notice because some of you didn't think Zionism or whatever, but the same tricks that the media uses on Trump, the same line, the same fake news, all of that was practiced, perfected, honed, and comes to you courtesy of the movement to delegitimize Israel. And the same movement to delegitimize Israel is now delegitimizing any opinion that the far left social justice warriors don't like. You have mild nervousness about gay marriage, deplatformed. You told a bad or an anti-gay joke 10 years ago, deplatformed. It's coming for you. Same way. I mean, they did it to Israel. What they did was they turned around the narrative. They went from we were the David facing the Arab army Goliath, 1967. We won. We pushed the Arab armies away. But by then, the process to do this was already underway, which was to flip the narrative. That's what they did. They flipped it around. So now we're the Goliath. Israel is the Goliath, and the little Palestinians, which were invented in the mid-60s, they're the David. Brilliant. The same thing is going to be done by the far left progressives on anyone who doesn't toe their unbelievably crap ideological line. And that is that. Anyway, that's enough for me today. At least I got my Periscope in this weekend. Thanks to all the people on Patreon who do still support me, and I'm actively looking for any other way to take support, because that is not going to be a viable means in the future. We've got to get this distributed web up. We've got to get distributed payment systems working. Crypto's a mess because of the volatility. Someone really needs to crack an easy method of transferring money that doesn't go through MasterCard or Visa or Amex or any of the existing payment processes. It's really a very, very bad situation at the moment. I hope Sargon gets reinstated, but I also hope we all realize this is just the warnings. You know, Pamela Geller, Robert Spencer being banned from the UK 5-6 years ago by Theresa May. It's the start. I've been watching it from the start in slow motion. Now it's speeding up. All right, catch you all. Nice to see you. And I'm Brian of London in a stormy Israel. Go over to my Facebook page, Brian John Thomas. Go look for it. You'll find a drone video I shot of me driving earlier.